So for this assignment, to get the images that you're going to draw from, you're going to go to quickposes.com. I just typed in gesture drawing practice, but you could just type in quickposes.com and go to timed practice. This is a free tool on the internet. Now you're going to want to go through, and here you're going to type, you're going to click pose, so you get a full body pose. I would put gender all, male and female. Then this is up to you what your level of comfort is here, whether you want to do nude and partially nude, or clothing and costumes, or all. I would suggest all. It's good to draw the nude human form, but if you're not comfortable with having nude figures on your computer screen, or you're not somewhere where that would be appropriate, you can click clothes and costumes only. So I'm going to do that for the demo just in case. And then here the interval is in seconds, so I'm going to have a list of how many of each I want you to do. We're going to do 60, 45, 30 seconds. I'll ask you to go in and type custom, so I'm going to get you down to 3 seconds a piece to make you go really fast. So you can type in 3 or however many I ask you for there. So I'm going to set this one on 30 seconds. Actually, I'll go ahead and put in a custom. We'll do 10 seconds for the demo. It tells how many images you want to draw at that time. So I'll say do 10 of them at 10 seconds a piece or something like that. Do you want the images upside down? No. And then you don't really need to put in your email. There's lots of other options here. If you get into this, you could get into the challenges and timed practices. There's all kinds of other things to explore, but we're just going to do this time practice here. And then once you've got all the parameters in, click start. You should have your drawing board ready to go. Sometimes this goes real quick, sometimes it takes a second. But that's good. It gives you a second to go. Get ready. Alright, so you get a pose here. This is actually a really interesting one with 2 figures. You'll get this pose. It will be up for 10 seconds. And you'll have that 10 seconds to draw the gesture. And then it will switch to another one. That's cool. We're getting some X-Men stuff here. So it looks like they'll have a lot of cosplay. If you really don't like an image, there's a skip button up at top that will allow you to skip to a new image. Some of them are going to take a little bit longer to load depending on the use of the site right now. Okay, so that's the basic idea of this. It's going to generate a bunch of poses for you to draw, and you can pause it here and back out, or you can stop the session. All right, and then it will show you up here what poses you have drawn. It'll have a little record of the session, and then you can come back, and now I want you to do 10 of them at 30 seconds a piece. You could go change it to 10 of them at 30 seconds a piece and work your way through the assignment. Gesture drawing assignment on the website I'm going to send you to, it's going to generate a number of images of humans standing in poses. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw them fairly quickly. So we're taking the hand-eye coordination ideas from last time and then extending that to a human figure. The idea is not to draw the full pose, so I'm going to give you a series of time limits that you're going to put in for yourself. The idea is to not really look at the paper much while you draw this. I'm just going to make up a gesture here. And what you're trying to do is capture just the pose. You're not trying to get any details about the figure that you see. You're just trying to get the pose that they're in. So say I had a person punching, I would get the head, and this should be all one continuous line. Blind, you're just using your hand-eye coordination. So I'm going to get like the head to the spine to the foot. That would be a good thing to get. The shoulders, the arm coming out, this arm going back. Get the tilt of the hips in there. Get the leg, get this leg pushing off. And then if I have time, like some of these you'll have a minute. Some of them you'll have no more than 3 seconds. But if I have a minute, then I would go in And I'm not just randomly scribbling. It looks like that maybe, but what I would trying to do is feel my way through the pose, feel my way through the forms on the body. Notice I started on the inside, so like spine, legs, hips. They kind of look like stick figures, but notice I'm being more fluid with it. But I'm starting with this inside armature, and then I'm building the body out on top of that. That's very important for the gesture drawing. As we get quicker, you're going to have to take a pose like this and just get it down to the essential of the pose. Like that's about all you're going to have time for if you have 3 seconds. Some things to look out for in gesture drawing. People take the stick figure idea a little too literally, and so they'll do these little drawings like this. And I mean, this is all right. It will get you a sense of the pose, but it's very stiff because you're having just like a line, a circle, line, a circle. The body, the human body is like a really integrated system, and you kill all the energy. It's like driving along and you hit a corner and you brake, and then you turn the corner and you kill all your energy when you brake here. You want to keep the energy flowing throughout the system. So you saw when I did this, even though maybe I was isolating, like here's a joint, I would go ahead and just keep going with it. So keep the energy flowing. Be careful of sausage people. That would be like if I did this pose like this. Looking like one of those art mannequins. It has the same problem of the sense of disconnection of the human body. It doesn't connect all the parts together. So again, can get a decent representation of the pose, but it doesn't have the sense of energy. So don't do sausage people. Look out for peanut heads, little tiny heads, or pumpkin heads. And I also see a lot of people tend to get legs about half the size that they should be. It's really easy. And the whole point of drawing like this is it's just the note. It's really easy to go back and fix your note and make the legs longer, adjust the proportions. So that's what we're doing with these, is I'm not just teaching you new ways to see with all of this stuff that we're doing. I'm also trying to teach you a series of steps in a process. And this type of drawing is really important because it's the first note that you're taking. Like when you're thinking about a paper, you're just taking a note of the idea for the paper. And then we'll get to fleshing out an outline and then, like writing the whole paper. But this is just that first note, and the quicker it happens, the better. And you need to be trusting your system at this phase. That's why you shouldn't be looking at the paper. Just let your visual system do the work. Let your hand-eye coordination do the work for you, and we'll give you strategies later on for fixing things. Now, we're also going to use this idea just to get any drawing started. So even if we don't have a human figure to look at and we're not capturing a pose, I can really quickly capture, and these are again called thumbnails or roughs. I'll put a picture plane down and then really quickly capture, say I'm looking at a still life and it has a pot and a vase with some flowers in it, and there's the table back there, and then over here's a coffee cup. All right, that's really quick, just getting the idea down on paper. What I don't want to do is sit there and draw out a pot and do this outline drawing, this cartoon drawing, where I'm trying to get it perfect anyways, and I'm doing a terrible job. I'm simplifying everything. This is too much time spent, and if you make a mistake, you're not able to move the image around. If I draw like this and I realize that the cup's too big, really quickly I can just make the cup smaller. If I realize the cup needs to be over here, it's really easy to just do it again. I realize this thing needs to be bigger, shorter, whatever. I can really quickly make those adjustments. If I leave something out like, oh yeah, there's a window back here, I should have put the window in there. That's another way to use this. It's not properly gesture drawing because you're not drawing a gesture, but I would call it notational drawing. You're just taking quick notes. Then the next step and we'll talk about this more in the next assignment, is how to make sure that the things are in the right place at the right size. And then you can go, after you've done that, then you can worry about going over top of this and adding detail. when you're doing this type of thing, you should be doing it with the 6H pencil. That's the lightest pencil that you have. And if you get things on there light and loose, then you'll be able to just draw right on top of these types of images, and it won't even make a difference. So